So, in an earlier video, I was speaking about Lewis Hamilton, and I kept referencing Lennox Lewis, and I know why that is. It's because boxing is in my head because I watched the fighting last night and saw the Chisora Parker fight. Another great fight, another great fight. If you watch their last one, it pretty much followed on from that. It's just they just stood there and had a bit of a slugfest. The notable difference this time for me, what I took from that fight, I actually didn't think Derek Chisora was in as good a shape as I've seen him in. I don't think he's as fit as he could have been. And from interviews I've seen with Derek Chisora, when he was with David Hay, one of the things that they talked about is that Derek isn't the best trainer. He's a good trainer, on the fitness side of things, he's a good trainer, but he can be pushed to get more out of him. And maybe that was slightly lacking this time. And the other, of course, the big difference between the last fight and this fight is in the last fight, Chisora dropped Parker in the first round. And that made a massive difference to that fight because it took about 4 rounds for Parker to shake that off. And this time, it didn't happen. Whatever Parker and Andy Lee had been working on, it was there. Joseph Parker was sharp from the off. His jab was good. His uppercuts were phenomenal. Brilliant uppercuts. He was 10 pounds heavier. So he'd obviously done a lot of strength training. There's been a lot of talk about his fitness this time round. And on the scales, when he did the weigh-in, he did look in great shape. He really did. And he didn't gas for the whole fight. He didn't gas. He really didn't. He absorbed all of Chisora's pressure and he just kept hitting him back, And anybody that saw the last fight, anybody who saw this fight, it'll, 2 heavyweights having such a slugfest. It was phenomenal. The other standout moments for me in that fight is Parker clearly hit Chisora clean several times. And I think there was 3 counts, might be 4, from punches. So the scorecards, they weren't as wide as I was expecting them to be. I thought Parker had won more rounds than that because there was quite a few 10-8 rounds. Arguably maybe some 9-8 rounds. And the other, within that, the second most noticeable thing for me, Chisora never hit him with that overhand right clean. Chisora has a phenomenal overhead right. It's one of his trademark punches, as well as his body shots. And that's devastated lots of fighters. Carlos Takam is one that immediately springs to mind. And it would have been interesting if in this fight he'd have managed to land that clean on Joseph Parker just a couple of times. And there's a couple of times you see him throw it, and Parker just saw it come and moved out of the way. And on one particular occasion, Derek Chisora went across the ring. And again, when Derek Chisora was hurt and he was taking his count, so savvy. As soon as the count was over, he just walked over to a neutral corner, just blatantly just turned his side to Parker and just walked to the corner and just got himself in the trenches. It's just like, come on in, mate. And as soon as you come on in, I'm going to throw a punch and I'm going to hit you. And that was fantastic to see. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I kind of like the fact that Chisora has that sort of war mentality. Like, I know I'm hurting and I know I can't do what I need to do. So I'm just going to go and put myself in the corner, batten down the hatches, and let you know that if you come in too close, I'm going to throw bombs at you. And look, and Parker was no coward. He was tentative, but he did what he was supposed to do. And yeah, you can't fault either of them. Amazing fighters, amazing warriors. I watched the IFL TV clip afterwards, and Derek Chisora was there again, handing out cheeseburgers. And yeah, it's good to see. I was worried this time. I thought Del Boy got hit and hurt a few times. I'd like to see him retire. I know already he said he's not going to. Sometimes it looks like he's getting hurt really badly. And for that reason alone, just for that reason alone, I'd love to see him retire. I wish Joseph Parker all the best moving forward. I know he wants a second shot at the title. If Del Boy's telling the truth and he is really fine, good luck to you, mate. You're one of the most entertaining heavyweights that's been around for as long as I can remember. You never disappoint. You're a fantastic crowd pleaser. I've already heard from a statement you made that you've no intention of retiring. You like the fight game too much. And I'll continue to support you. But I would love you maybe to think about the possibility of retiring, because I don't want you to be one of those casualties. I don't want anyone to be one of those casualties of too many punches, because you take some big punches and get up and get up. You know, you probably have one of the greatest chins in the business ever. And I love you a lot, and I love watching your fights. And there's one thing I love to see good tear-ups, I really do, but I really don't like to see it when you can tell a boxer's been hurt. And I certainly hope that, Derek, you're okay, and that if you do carry on fighting, it's because you're okay. But whatever, all the best. Take care. Be blessed.